25F, my fiancé, 29M, has not told his parents we are engaged for over 2 months now. I am pretty upset that my fiancé has yet to tell his parents we are engaged. We have been together for 2.5 years and were friends a year prior. I told my grandmother the day we came home after we got engaged and waited to tell my brother, the head of my family, when he returned home from out of the country a month later. I wanted to tell them first before really letting anyone else know, as they mean the most to me. My fiancé on the other hand recently moved out of his parents' place to his own place and has not said a word about the engagement. Might I add, I am moving in with him in the next few days due to a job. He has told his mentors and co-workers but no one else. I have already talked to him about how this upsets me because I feel every time I'm around his parents I hide the ring. I refuse to be the one to explain to them that we are engaged. Furthermore, what upsets me the most, my fiancé has a trend of being scared to tell his mother things, which in turn he's also afraid to tell the rest of his family things because he knows they will tell her. This upsets me because oftentimes his mother will sniff something out and will put me in awkward situations to twist my arm to tell her. Which I always says, ask your son. I am tired of being in the position of ask your son. And yes, I have already talked to him about how much this triggers me. I think he's being a wuss. Granted his mother tends to be narcissistic and make things about her and can get initially mad. She eventually gets over it, however, he is a grown-ass man. TL, doctor, my fiancé hasn't told his family that we are engaged for almost 3 months now. What can I do at this point? I have already told him why this is upsetting and nothing has happened since then. I would wear the ring at all times and not hide it. Let the chips fall where they may. If his parents finding out about your engagement causes the end of your relationship, better to know sooner rather than later. Good luck to you. First of all, do not hide the ring. Second, answer all questions honestly. If there's some kind of fallout over her finding out, that's entirely his fault and his mess to clean up. Has he told you why he hasn't told them? Is there bad blood between you and his parents, or between him and his parents? He is a grown-ass man. You seem to be confusing his age with a sign that he's grown. He's not. He's scared of telling his mother the most basic things about his life. That's not the sign of a grown-up. If he hasn't told his parents at this point, then you're not really engaged. Like a girlfriend who he won't introduce to anyone in his life. And if he's not willing to shout about your engagement to everyone within hearing distance, metaphorically, loud and proud, he's probably not someone you want to be engaged to anyway. That ring goes on your finger and only comes off when you have a wedding band, if then. Hiding it from his parents is the same as not having the ring. I, 28F, am a night owl and my partner, 32M, of 4 years is an early bird. Struggling to maintain intimacy and starting to feel like I may be the issue. Need some advice. 4 years, 3 years living together. He has a 5-year-old who live with us 50% of the time. No other kids, yet. We both get up around 5:30 AM through the week. Usually I'm up and out of bed as soon as the alarm goes off at 5:30, and he rolls around until about 6. My workday starts earlier than his, although we're both self-employed and have some flexibility. I have client commitments at 7 AM and he has commitments starting between 6:30 and 9, depending on the day. On the weeks his daughter is here, she's up around the same time as me and follows me around all day unless I specifically tell, so he has to keep her away from me. Usually Sonny can at least shower in peace. More info later in the post. The evenings and weekends cause issue for us. While we're both up early, I prefer to stay up until 9-10ish in the evenings and he's in bed by 8 most nights. Or he falls asleep on the couch while I'm still up, and then he spends the night on the couch because he doesn't want to move, which I'm 100% okay with. He's bothered that we don't go to bed at the same time, and says it impacts our sex life. I agree with that, but disagree that I should be the only one making adjustments. He says if I went to bed at 7/8 with him, we'd have lots of time for sex in the evening. Which is true, except from 8:10 until 10 PM, I'd either get up and go back to the couch, which he has an issue with, or I'd lay in bed awake, which he also has an issue with, as do I. Now it's 8:30 on Saturday night and he's been in bed for over an hour. On the weekends, he gets up between 6 and 7, while I prefer to sleep until 8 or 9. He's decent about letting me sleep until 8, but I swear he has an alarm set because at 8:01, he comes in to wake me up. And if I don't jump out of bed, he jokingly accuses me of being lazy and grumpy and wasting the day. Anyway, I only later had this exact issue, which makes me think the issue may lay with me. I know there's some kind of moral high ground that goes along with getting up early on weekends. And Miso claims he just can't stay up past 8 during the week because he works so hard all day. Which is probably true for him. But I also work hard. Anybody care for 6 kids under 5 for 10 plus hours a day? And I need an hour or so to myself before bed to wind down before I can sleep. I literally do not have a second to myself between when I wake up in the morning and when he falls asleep at night. His daughter gets up around the same time as me and follows me around all morning, and then he gets up shortly after, and doesn't usually leave until my first daycare kids drive at our house. He's home an hour or so before the last daycare kids leave, and his daughter is with me all day. Staying up an extra hour is literally the only way I can get a little alone time other than locking myself in the bathroom midday for an extra long pee break. Especially now that we're only allowed to leave the house for work and groceries. I need some strategies for time alone, COVID friendly, we're under a stay-at-home order, and communicating that I don't need 9 to 10 hours of sleep a night, and communicating that it's not a matter of not wanting to be around him, but a matter of not being able to sleep until 2+ hours after he goes to bed. TL, doctor, my partner and I have different sleep needs, also tied to my need for some kind of alone time during all lockdowns. Need help figuring out strategies and how to communicate needs in a way that isn't perceived as rejection. A 30-something-year-old man going to bed at 7 o'clock to 8 p.m. is really bizarre. Going to bed at 9 o'clock to 10 p.m. doesn't exactly make one a night owl either. Does he pay you for the childcare of his daughter, or are you just expected to do it? It's really rude of him to not let you sleep in a bit on the weekend. Can't he entertain himself for a bit, or is he expecting you to make breakfast or something like that? Jeez, I'm lucky my husband that gets up around 8 on the weekends just plays video games till I get up around 10 or 11. It sounds like he has a lot of expectations of you but doesn't value what you're already contributing. Can't you name one night a week as couple time where you both agree to spend more cuddle time together? Lol, you're not a night owl. And it's not morally superior to get up earlier on the weekends. It sounds like the best compromise is what you're already doing. You go to bed with him at 8 to bang, and then get up again and just go to bed later than him. He also shouldn't be waking you up on the weekends unless you've both agreed to it. I get the feeling that you feel guilty for not naturally syncing up with his sleep schedule, when you're not doing anything wrong. People have different sleep schedules. Let me get this straight. Except from 8:10 until 10 p.m., I'd either get up and go back to the couch, which he has an issue with, or I'd lay in bed awake, which he also has an issue with, as do I. You can't go to sleep when you want to. Even if you go to bed with him earlier for sex or cuddling, you should not leave if he's sleepy but you're still awake. Also said he wakes you up in the morning. Do I have the facts? WTF, girl, exclamation mark. My sleep schedule is super erratic, being a natural night owl but also working 9 to 5 most of my life. I've never been with a guy who had any problem with when I'm sleeping or not. And, like you, I can wake up in the morning at a certain time, if that's the plan. Yes, at first I might have to say I often get a second wind late at night or I rarely sleep 8 hours in a row. But everyone I've ever lived with doesn't notice me quietly puttering around in the middle of the night or on the sofa watching a movie. Once in a while, they can't sleep and say, "This is kind of nice." Smiley face. With the BF, of course I go to the couch if he's sleepy and I'm not. No problem. Sorry honey, but you have a problem because I've never known anyone, family, friends, roommates, BFS, who thinks everyone should sleep exactly when they sleep. Do you see how crazy that is? Yes, I know I'm a little unusual in the erratic nature of my sleep. Maybe you are, too. But everyone I've been with has had no problem with it. Why is he trying to control how you sleep? Take care and good night, seriously. Yo, I don't have any advice, but I'm just here to express that a 7 p.m. bedtime for an adult who doesn't have to get up at 3 a.m. is just shocking, really. As is waking you up on weekends because he's so excited to share the day with you. Does this sound like toddler behavior to you? It does to me. Is he overweight? Maybe he has sleep apnea, which is why he's so tired and needs 10 to 11 hours of sleep every night. Which, to be clear, is an excessive amount. You're not a night owl, by the way. You're an early bird by every possible standard. It's just that his sleep schedule is simply bizarre. Yeah, going to bed at 10 p.m. is not a night owl. He is acting like a toddler by jumping on the bed at 8:01 to play. Jeez. Struggling to make decision about what's best for my 29F kids when I'm clouded by hatred towards my ex, 30M. So the situation has been very sticky the last 3 months. My ex of 10 years who I have 2 kids with, 1 and 3, left and has been playing with my emotions since. He has a new girlfriend who he met whilst we were together and has rubbed their relationship in my face, constantly talking about her, leaving lube/panties etc. around when he knows I'm coming over. He has told me he misses me, he loves me and a bunch of other shit since leaving. I've come to a point where I feel what I can only describe as intense hatred towards him. Whilst we were together he was addicted to weed. He left promising he would stop smoking and be a better dad. He replaced weed with alcohol and got drunk around the kids one day and passed out. Luckily his mum was there. That was about 2 months ago. He has since quit drinking but he is back on weed. He smokes around 70 pounds in 1 week. He has let my kids down many times and I've had to send him away because he has been stoned when he turns up. He directly told me he doesn't enjoy spending time with them. He told his mum my dad left me, so why can't I do the same? Things like this make me want to completely stop him seeing them. I got fed up on Tuesday because he messaged me an hour before coming saying he got stoned. My daughter was expecting him to collect her from school and I desperately needed milk for the younger child. Luckily I have a friend who managed to come over and help me instead, but I was enraged when he did this as he put his weed above the kids' needs. He claims he needed it to help him focus at work. He is WFH. Anyway, I was overcome with rage, so I told him not to bother turning up anymore and I needed time to consider what I wanted to do. I spoke to his mum who mentioned to me that his girlfriend told him he should only see them on the weekends. This really pissed me off and I ended up messaging him threatening to send her some messages he sent me telling me he loved me whilst they were still together, part of what I was referring to when I mentioned playing with my emotions. I wasn't actually going to do anything, I just wanted to hurt him. I know it was a stupid thing to do. He responded saying she saw my message and the damage was done. She messaged me on Facebook telling me how lovely she is and how she doesn't understand why I hate her so much, lol. After that I just told him I said that because I heard she was trying to control his relationship with his kids and that I regretted threatening that. I could have done way worse to spite them but I didn't. I did not know she would read his text messages. Anyway, he is refusing to talk to me now. He hasn't seen his kids all week and hasn't bothered trying. I saw his mum today who showed me messages from him telling her to ask me if he can see them tomorrow and that I need to understand he is an addict and he needs time to sort himself out. I know how much of a narcissist, manipulative asshole he is though, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is what he wanted all along. I don't know what I'm doing anymore and I know I can't make a decision based on my hatred. How do I know what's best for them? Should I just let him have supervised access with his mum present once a week, allow him to stick to his normal hours, wait for him to actually make an effort and bother calling/messaging me directly to ask to see them to show he will make a better effort with them? I don't know what to do. I'm so angry that he get to live his life with his new girl when I'm here looking after the kids we decided to bring into this world together. I'm not at all saying I regret having them, but I am extremely bitter that he gets to have his cake and eat it. He never made an effort in our relationship. I wanted affection and all the other stuff that comes with being with someone, and he never wanted to give that to me. Now he gives that all to her and only sees his kids when it's convenient to him, and I hate him for it. I wish I didn't care, but I do. I know how childish this sounds, but I'm overwhelmed right now and struggling to cope alone. Too long didn't read. How do I separate my hatred towards my addict ex from the decisions I make about what's best for my children? FYI, I live in the UK where custody, legal agreements are not standard. It's all just verbal agreements.